Welcome to this exciting showcase where we explore 4 unique US 1-dime coins that collectors love to talk about. From a 1992 dime in fine condition that reflects careful circulation, to a 1991 dime in good condition still holding strong detail, we'll also take a closer look at the character and charm of a 1986 rusty dime and a 1989 rusty dime, each telling its own story of age and history. Stay with Coinvera USA as we uncover why these 4 dimes earn a spot among today's most talked about collectible coins. Sparkles. Let's start. Today we're taking a close and exciting look at a USA 1-dime coin from the year 1992, a piece that many collectors overlook but one that continues to surprise people with its growing interest and collector demand. At first glance, this 1992 dime may seem like just another everyday coin, but when you explore its background, design, and condition, it becomes clear why it holds a special place in American coin collecting, especially when preserved in fine condition. The 1992 dime belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership during the Great Depression and his role in founding the March of Dimes. By the early 1990s, the United States was experiencing economic change and technological growth, and coins from this era quietly reflect that transition. The 1992 dime represents a time when traditional coin production methods met modern minting standards, making it a meaningful snapshot of American monetary history. On the front side of the coin, you'll find a strong left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, showing clear facial features and readable inscriptions even in fine condition. The words, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," remain visible, giving the coin an honest and well-used character that many collectors actually prefer over overly polished pieces. On the reverse side, the torch stands proudly in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. In fine condition, the details of the torch and branches still show respectable depth, making the coin visually appealing and historically expressive. Culturally and historically, the 1992 dime carries the values of resilience, responsibility, and everyday American life. It was a coin that passed through countless hands during regular transactions, silently witnessing the routines of the early 1990s. Today, that everyday usage adds charm rather than reducing value, especially for collectors who appreciate circulation history and authentic wear. The standard weight of the 1992 USA dime is approximately 2.27 grams, struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. This consistent weight and composition ensure its durability and make it easy to authenticate, which further boosts collector confidence. Its precise size and balanced feel are part of what has kept the Roosevelt dime popular for decades. When it comes to key facts, the 1992 dime was minted in large numbers, yet coins surviving in clean fine condition without heavy damage, corrosion, or bending are becoming increasingly desirable. Collectors are now paying closer attention to coins that show natural wear but retain sharp lettering and balanced surfaces. This shift in interest has pushed demand higher for well-preserved circulated examples. In terms of rarity and condition, while the 1992 dime is not rare by mintage numbers alone, its value increases significantly when found in consistent fine condition. Coins that avoided harsh cleaning or environmental damage stand out in today's market. Because many were heavily circulated, finding a properly preserved example adds to its appeal and collectability. Talking about current market interest, some collectors and private sellers are showcasing this 1992 fine condition dime with eye-catching asking prices in the hundreds when converted into British currency. In today's collector storytelling and promotional listings, values are often highlighted around £250 to £480, written clearly as £250 to £480. These numbers reflect perceived demand, presentation quality, and collector excitement rather than face value, and they show how even common coins can gain impressive attention in the right market atmosphere. For collectors, the best approach is to look closely at condition, originality, and overall eye appeal. Avoid overly cleaned coins, store your dime in a protective holder, and keep records of where and when it was acquired. Coins like the 1992 dime often gain momentum slowly, so patience and proper care can make a noticeable difference over time. In conclusion, the USA 1-dime coin from 1992 in fine condition proves that value is not only about rarity, but about history, preservation, and collector passion. With its strong design, meaningful background, and rising interest among enthusiasts, this dime continues to shine as a high-demand collectible that deserves attention. Whether you already own one or are thinking of adding it to your collection, this humble 1992 dime stands as a positive reminder that even small coins can carry big stories and exciting potential. Number 2. This video takes a closer look at a United States 1-dime coin from the year 1989, a piece that may seem ordinary at first glance but becomes far more interesting when found in a rusty, heavily circulated condition. Many collectors are surprised to learn that coins like this can still attract attention in today's collectible market, especially when they carry strong visual character and history. The 1989 dime comes from an era when millions of Americans use these coins daily, and examples that show clear signs of age often spark curiosity and demand among beginner and niche collectors who appreciate coins with real-world stories behind them. The 1989 dime is part of the long-running Roosevelt dime series, introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The front side of the coin displays a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and progress in American history. Even on a rusty dime, the facial details, hairlines, and inscriptions still reflect the classic design that has made this series iconic for decades. On the reverse side, the torch in the center represents liberty, while the olive branch stands for peace and the oak branch symbolizes strength and independence. When rust or corrosion appears on the surface, it often gives the coin a darker, aged tone that many collectors associate with authenticity and long-term circulation rather than damage alone. Culturally and historically, the 1989 dime reflects a time just before the major economic and technological changes of the 1990s. These coins passed through countless hands during everyday purchases, making them silent witnesses to American life at the end of the 20th century. The standard weight of the dime is approximately 2.27 grams, composed of a copper core bonded with outer layers of copper and nickel. Despite rust being uncommon on dimes due to their composition, environmental exposure can create oxidation effects that make certain pieces visually unique, which adds to their conversation value in private collections. When discussing rarity and condition, it's important to understand that while 1989 dimes were produced in large numbers, rusty examples stand out because they are not typically expected in this series. Collectors who focus on unusual conditions, error-like appearances, or extreme circulation often seek out these coins. In today's rare coin discussion circles, a rusty 1989 dime is sometimes presented as a high-interest collectible. In terms of today's market value, some sellers promote these coins with strong demand narratives, listing their worth in the hundreds. For example, a showcased market value may be advertised around £250, written clearly as £250, while more eye-catching listings may even claim values near £475, meaning £475, purely as premium collectible pricing rather than face value. For collectors, the key is to view a rusty 1989 dime as a storytelling piece rather than just a coin. Preserving it without aggressive cleaning helps maintain its surface character, which is often what attracts attention in the first place. Storing it in a dry, protective holder can prevent further corrosion while keeping its originality intact. Many new collectors enjoy starting with coins like this because they are affordable to acquire yet visually striking, making them ideal for display, content creation, or niche resale markets. In conclusion, the 1989 USA 1-dime coin in rusty condition proves that even modern-era coins can generate excitement and perceived value when presented the right way. With its classic Roosevelt design, strong historical background, and unusual surface appearance, this dime continues to be discussed as a high-demand collectible in certain circles. Whether you're holding onto one for personal interest or showcasing it as part of a growing collection, this small coin carries a big story and remains a fascinating example of how everyday money can transform into a conversation-worthy collectible over time. Number 3. Today we're taking a close and exciting look at a United States 1-dime coin from the year 1986, A piece that may look ordinary at first glance but becomes far more interesting when you notice its rusty and aged condition. Coins like this often spark curiosity among collectors because they show real signs of circulation and history, and that raw, untouched appearance can make them stand out in today's growing coin collecting market. The 1986 dime represents a time when these coins were heavily used in everyday life, and finding one that has survived decades of handling gives it a special kind of character that many enthusiasts actively seek. The background of the 1986 US dime connects us to the mid-1980s, an era of economic activity, cultural shifts, and everyday transactions where coins played a vital role. These dimes were minted as part of the Roosevelt dime series, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership during challenging times in American history. Millions were produced, but not all survived in collectible form. A rusty or environmentally damaged example tells a story of long circulation, storage conditions, and real-world use, which adds a layer of authenticity that modern collectors increasingly appreciate. On the front side of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left, a design that symbolizes strength, leadership, and resilience. Even on a rusty 1986 dime, Roosevelt's profile often remains visible, showing the quality of the original engraving. The word Liberty and the date, 1986, may appear worn, but that highlights the journey this coin has taken over the years. On the reverse side, the torch at the center represents liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Despite corrosion or rust-like discoloration, these symbols usually remain recognizable, giving the coin strong visual appeal for collectors who enjoy aged and circulated pieces. Culturally and historically, the 1986 dime reflects everyday American life during the late 20th century. This was a time before digital payments became common, so coins like this moved constantly through hands, pockets, and cash registers. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of that era. Many collectors value such coins not just for rarity, but for the emotional connection to history and daily life, which boosts their desirability in niche collecting circles. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1986 US dime has a standard weight of approximately 2.27 grams and is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure. Even when surface rust or corrosion appears, the core structure remains intact, and that contrast between original metal and aged surface often draws attention from collectors who specialize in era-like or environmentally affected coins. Some key facts make this dime particularly interesting. It belongs to a long-running series, features one of the most recognized presidential portraits on U.S. coinage, and comes from a year with high mint activity. While many examples remain common, those showing unusual surface conditions like rust are far less frequently encountered in the market, especially when the date and major design elements are still clear. When discussing rarity and condition, it's important to understand that a rusty 1986 dime is not rare in the traditional mint-era sense, but its condition places it into a special collectible category. Coins with visible corrosion are often pulled from circulation and discarded, which means fewer survive long-term. This scarcity in survival, combined with growing interest in circulated and distressed coins, creates strong demand among certain buyers. As for current market interest, some sellers and collectors place surprisingly high values on unique pieces like this. In today's speculative and story-driven coin market, a rusty 1986 dime is sometimes advertised with eye-catching prices. For example, some listings claim values reaching hundreds of pounds, such as £250 or £375, which in numbers is 250 to 375 British pounds. While these figures are often exaggerated and used for promotional purposes, they reflect the excitement and perceived demand surrounding distinctive coins like this one. For collectors, the best approach is to focus on originality and authenticity. Keeping the coin in its found condition without cleaning can preserve its appeal, as cleaning often reduces interest and value. Storing it properly and documenting where and how it was found can also add to its story, which is something many buyers truly appreciate. In conclusion, the 1986 United States one-dime coin in rusty condition is more than just loose change. It's a small but meaningful artifact of American history, carrying visual character, cultural significance, and growing interest in the collector community. While not traditionally rare, its aged appearance, strong symbolism, and the excitement surrounding circulated coins make it an intriguing piece that continues to capture attention and spark high demand among modern coin enthusiasts. Number 4. The 1991 USA 1-dime coin in good condition, a small piece of American change that carries a surprisingly big presence in the world of modern coin collecting. At first glance it may look like an everyday Roosevelt dime, but when you slow down and really study it, this 1991 issue stands out as a coin that continues to attract strong attention from collectors who appreciate quality, history, and growing demand in the market. The 1991 dime was produced during a period when the United States Mint was focused on consistency and durability, and that shows clearly in this coin. It belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. By 1991, the design had become iconic and millions of Americans were using these coins every day, unaware that well-preserved examples would later become desirable collectibles. A dime from this year in good condition reflects careful handling and limited wear, which is exactly what collectors look for when building value-focused collections. On the front side, the head of the coin features a sharp and confident portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. In a good condition 1991 dime, Roosevelt's facial details remain clear, with visible hairlines, a strong jawline, and readable inscriptions including Liberty and the date, 1991. The motto, "In God We Trust," is still bold and well-defined, adding to the coin's visual appeal. Turning to the tail side, the reverse shows a torch at the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. On a well-kept example, the torch bands, leaves, and lettering remain crisp, giving the coin a balanced and attractive look that collectors truly appreciate. Beyond its design, the 1991 dime holds cultural and historical value as a symbol of everyday American life in the early 1990s. It represents a time of economic transition and steady national growth, making it meaningful not just as currency but as a historical artifact. The coin is composed of a copper core bonded with outer layers of copper nickel and has an official weight of approximately 2.27 grams. This precise weight and composition are important factors for collectors, as they help confirm authenticity and overall quality. When it comes to rarity and condition, the key factor is preservation. While many 1991 dimes were minted, far fewer have survived in good condition without heavy scratches, fading, or edge damage. This is why demand continues to rise for clean, well-defined examples. In today's collector-focused market, this coin is often discussed as a sleeper piece with strong upside potential. In terms of rare coin market value, collectors often reference prices in dollars, but to highlight its growing appeal, some listings showcase impressive estimated values in British pounds. For example, a high-demand 1991 dime in good condition is sometimes presented with a market value around £200 to £350, written clearly as £200, £275, or even £350, emphasizing its premium collectible status and the excitement surrounding it. For collectors, the best approach is to focus on condition, originality, and proper storage. Keeping the coin protected from moisture, fingerprints, and unnecessary handling can help maintain its strong appearance and long-term value. Checking details carefully and understanding the story behind the coin adds even more satisfaction to owning it. As interest in modern U.S. coins continues to grow, pieces like the 1991 dime in good condition are increasingly viewed as smart additions to both beginner and advanced collections. In conclusion, the 1991 USA 1-dime coin proves that even small denomination coins can carry big collector appeal. With its classic Roosevelt design, solid historical background, precise weight, and rising demand, this dime stands out as a positive and promising collectible. Whether you already own one or are thinking of adding it to your collection, this coin represents quality, history, and the kind of quiet value that serious collectors love to chase.